Now, in high definition, from Western North Carolina's news leader, this is News 13 This Morning.
Welcome back. Time right now, 5:54. If you can see us, we're kind of hidden in this beautiful garden of orchids. The North Carolina Arboretum is welcoming spring this weekend with one of the largest shows in the Southeast.
And this morning we are joined by Ramsey, the president of the North Carolina Orchid Society here in Western North Carolina. Thank you so much for being here.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the show and about, we have a lot of variety here, and they smell so good.
Well, the Western North Carolina Orchid Society puts on the largest orchid show in the Southeast, excluding Florida. But this is our annual orchid show at the North Carolina Arboretum. And we have 11 vendors and 5 orchid societies displaying thousands of orchids this weekend.
Wow.
Now, Graham, are orchids difficult to grow?
Some of them are, but for the most part, orchids are easy to grow. You just have to do a few things correctly.
Which include?
Which includes watering or not watering them. The biggest killer of orchids at home is over-loving them or over-watering them.
Okay. And so the root rot sets in, I guess.
The root rot sets in. So if you water them correctly and have some good light, anybody can grow orchids.
Tell us a little bit about the different ones here. I didn't realize there were so many different styles. This looks completely different than this one.
Right. Well, there's 25,000 different species of orchids in the world growing naturally, and untold number of hybrids where they've, crossbreeded different orchids. So, yeah, you've got quite a variety.
And this coral one in front catches
Yes.
my attention. What makes an award-winning orchid?
What makes an award-winning orchid, the judges look for the quality of the bloom, and they will look at the color and the way it's grown, and then they'll compare it to all the other particular flower blooms that they've seen in the past to consider it for awards.
And the overall health of the plant, too?
And the overall health of the plant can also get an award, as they'll either judge the flower or they'll judge the whole plant.
Interesting.
So how many plants do you think are actually going to be at this show? This is going to take people a while to get through?
The Arboretum auditorium will be filled with over 1,000 blooming orchids.
Right.
And then there'll be 3 times that many for sale in the vendor sale area.
And what do one of these go for, roughly?
You can buy orchids from anywhere from $10 to $200.
Wow.
Just depending on how special of a plant you want to buy.
All right, so even if you don't have a lot of money, you can still easily leave with one.
Absolutely. There's an orchid in this show for everybody.
For everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's good to know. Graham, thanks so much.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
You'll be here with us a little bit longer, a little bit later. Here's the information you guys need. North Carolina Arboretum, the Orchid Society's annual show. It is March 31st to April 1st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Of course, for more info, go to WLOS.com. Well, coming up on 6:51, visitors to the North Carolina Arboretum will step into a lush tropical world, as we have, when the WNC Orchid Society's annual show debuts to the public this weekend. Jay, where are you?
I'm right here.
Can you see?
Yes, I can, but I don't want to break the plant. But this morning we are joined by Ramsey. He's the president of the Western North Carolina Orchid Society. Thanks for being here with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Tell us about the show coming up this weekend.
Well, this is the largest orchid show in the Southeast, one of the largest orchid shows, and we've got 11 vendors and 5 different orchid societies putting on fabulous displays, thousands of orchids on display at the North Carolina Arboretum. This is the Arboretum's 25th anniversary and our Orchid Society's 50th anniversary.
Well, you certainly have some beautiful plants here, and there are a lot of different species, you said.
There are. There's over 25,000 species growing in the wild all around the world.
Wow, and these typically indoor, outdoor, can they be both? Tell us a little bit about the flower.
Well, they can be both. In Asheville, of course, in the wintertime, you have to bring them in.
Right.
And if you have a greenhouse or a windowsill, doesn't matter. And then when the weather gets warm like it's been, you can go ahead and move them outside.
All right, what is it separates an orchid from other flowering plants? What makes it so different? Is it the bloom?
The bloom and orchids. That's a tough one.
Right. Well, the blooms are gorgeous.
They
And we
are
were
beautiful.
talking earlier, these can get quite pricey.
They can. You can buy orchids anywhere from $10 to $200. Just depends on your taste.
A
What would be-
$200 orchid.
Yeah.
What would be on the higher end out of this group?
These two on the front are the more expensive orchids. They're
Those are the ones-
just special crosses.
Jay fell in love with. Jay, you got
Yep.
expensive taste over there.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, evidently. What is that, about a $100 plant?
Yeah, $150.
Oh, ooh. Wow.
But
So that's
they're-
not something you want, just can't afford to have 4 or 5 of those sitting on the table at home.
It just depends on how obsessed you are with your hobby.
Well, and how long do they live?
Orchids actually will live forever. If they have
Oh.
the right conditions, an orchid will last forever. It
Okay.
has no life cycle.
Well, then maybe it'd be worth the investment. This changes things.
It does.
Jay.
It totally does. It has me looking at it differently. And of course, as it grows, can you separate it and make another
You
orchid product?
can. You can. When an orchid gets large, you can divide it and make 2 or 3 orchids. This orchid you could take that and divide it up and make 5 or 6 different potted.
Oh, I was going to say $500 or $600.
No.
That's where I was headed with that.
Jay's back in the money. Well, thank you so much for being with us. This is the information once again. The annual show is March 31st to April 1st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go to WLOS.com for more info. You said hundreds, possibly thousands. Thousands of orchids will be there. Certainly that will be a beautiful thing to
Yes, it
attend.
will.
Graham, thank you. We've learned something this morning.
Well, thank you.